Hello and welcome to the game analysis of match number 3 between Napo and Dinglirin. Napo started the match with a new move b4. In response, Ding started with knight to f6, c4 and e6. Napo moved knight to c3 and Ding played d5. The Queen's Gambit is an important guest at World Championships with memorable games in the legendary clashes between Valencia versus Aklin, Fischer, Karpov versus Kasparov, among others. The exchange variation was Kasparov's favorite. Nepo moved bishop to d5 and Ings played his pawn to c6. In response, Nepo played e3, h6 in the 90s. In the 90s, moving the h-pawn is an exchange orthodox positions like this was considered an opening mistake. This is one of the clearest changes in theory in recent years. The computer showed that it's okay to play like this and has also started to indicate more active plans for black. And Napo moved his bishop to h4 and Dings moved his bishop to e5. Napo moved bishop to d3 and Ding went for castling. Ding has some experience in this position, so it didn't come as a surprise to Napo. Two of the Chinese grandmasters' opponents decided not to put the queen on c2 so quickly, but he had no trouble equalizing in those games. Napo moved queen to c2 and Ding moved his bishop to e8. Then knight to e2 and Ding moved his knight to d7 and Napo went for castling at 11th move. Ding repeats what he had played in a rapid game against Gary last year. Black has options that are more popular like knight to e4, queen to e7, bishop to e7. 12th move Napo played a bishop to 3. This is not an easy move. I think the idea is to already prevent the b5, b4 advance, although it's a bit surprising that this is done before the pawn reaches b5. Ning moved his knight to h5, a classic Queen's Gambit move, exchanging bishops and relieving the position. Napo captured bishop at e7, whereas Ning equalizing the bishop by queen to e7. Ning moved his rook to e1, white goes to the center. The plan is to knight to c1, f3 and play e4 at an opportune moment, but black move will avoid this in the game. Ding moved his knight to e f8 and Napo moved his knight to c1, whereas Ding moved his knight to f6. Napo moved his bishop to f3. Ding has played all this before and only here it's a novelty to played. Napo didn't get any advantage and will need a better idea if he wants to repeating these openings. 17th move was moving knight to e2. Napo moved his knight to c5. It is interesting to note that Ding moves the same plan as his game against Gary. Bishop to b5. Napo moved bishop to b5 and Ding moved his rook to d8. While game is moving quickly and rapidly moving bishops and queens to the center. At 27th move, Ming moved his knight to d7, a great way to recapture. The knight goes to the b6, black's position is more comfortable, but Napo plays with precision to preserve the balance. While moving his knight to d4, In response, Ding's moved to knight b6, rook to d1, and Ding played aggressively to c4 knight. Naples responded with queens moving to f2, rock to f2, and in this case, Naples moved his knight to a4. It seems strange to place the knight in the corner, but in this case, the move is useful for expelling the queen and removing the threat of queen at c5. Lynx moved his queen to e7, whereas Nepo moved his rook to e1. Lynx moved his queen to f6, whereas Nepo moved his knight to b5. Another knight that leaves the center and goes to the corner. It's the best move to counter the attack of Ding. Whereas Ding moved his knight to c7 to counter the attack of Nepo's knight. Whereas Nepos retrieve his knight to d4. Whereas repeating again knight to e5, c7, d4, e6, and it's a draw. An important draw to restore Ding's confidence. He didn't have any problems in the opening and can now try to press with white in the next game. The game 4 will begin on Thursday, 13th April at 2 am Eastern Time.